Greetings comic book fans and welcome to the Dude Cave. I'm Jason and these are my comic book reviews for the first week of November 2015. Big stack of books to get through this week, so we're going to kick things off. We're going to have Comics of the Week, which are going to look at 5 of my favourite books that I enjoyed this week. We're then going to have rapid fire reviews, which are going to be the rest of the books that I read, just a quick opinion on each book. We've then got something a bit new. We've got Rant of the Week, and that this week I'm going to be ranting about Secret Wars. What was the point of Secret Wars? From there we will have Pick of the Week, and we're going to close this bad boy down with, as always, Company of the Week. So without further ado, let's get to those reviews. So here we are for my Comics of the Week. Let's see what goodies we got this week. I'm going to kick things off in a galaxy far away. We have Star Wars issue number 11. Really good book. Aaron is just doing such a great job writing these characters. They feel so authentic. We have Luke this issue. He battles Congo the Disembowler. And what's really cool here is Congo is kind of similar to a... see if I can find the picture. He is kind of similar to a Rancor, and we see Luke battle a Rancor in Return of the Jedi, and at that point Luke's kind of like this great Jedi Knight, or becoming a Jedi Knight, where here we see there's Congo the Disembowler, and Luke has to fight this creature, and he's like got no skills yet. He knows how to close his eyes and block shots from a ball, but that's about it. He's not a Jedi Knight, and he has to battle this creature. So that kind of felt authentic for where Luke's at. Likewise, Han Solo. I was a big critic of the whole wife story, but the way Aaron pays it off here when he explains it is just perfect, and it fits in with the scoundrel that we know and love Han Solo to be. So I loved that, and Princess Leia's reaction to it is just so Princess Leia, locking the door and not answering him. That is just so her as well. We also get Chewbacca battling Dengar. Oh my god, I loved this. In the films it was always the things like Jabba's Palace and Mos Eisley Cantina and the Bounty Hunters and Jabba's Star Destroyer that captured my imagination in the films, and that were things that I would have liked to have seen more of. So here to see Dengar actually in action, to see him interacting with the characters, and to see what he's like as a bounty hunter, and that he is actually really badass, was really cool, and I really liked that. So that was fantastic, and by the end of the book it feels like the stories are coming together, and the art here by Stuart Immonen is just fantastic. All in all, I'm loving it. Definite 5 out of 5 from me, and one of my books of the week. And next up we have Monstrous issue number 1. I'm really enjoyed this issue. I picked it up just because it was a bargain, you know, 66 pages for $4.99. Now regular comic book, say for example from Marvel, you'll get about 24 pages for about $3.99, and you're getting kind of 3 times that for $1 more. You know, it doesn't take a mathematical genius to kind of work out that's damn good value for money. The story itself features this character called Micah. The world she lives in, you've kind of got these characters that are like mutants, but they're called the Arcanians, and we have our regular humans who describe themselves as humans. So I don't know if they've kind of come from Earth or what's going on here. But they used to live together, but now they've been at war and they're just giving up for a second war. And some of the Arcanians have been sold into slavery, and Micah is one of these, and that's how we meet her as she's sold into slavery. We learn through the flashbacks, however, that, you know, something bad happened to her, and that she's got some kind of monster inside her, and she needs to understand this, and the people that can help her, she's not going to be able to get to, so she has to go through this route of going through slavery to get to where she needs to get answers and to get revenge. Really interesting book. It kind of throws together the fantasy genre with the way this world is, but also throws that in with kind of a kung fu or samurai revenge movie, you know, with the whole mission of I've got to get revenge on these people that have done me wrong. So I really like that. The art, the artist is, there you can see their name, Sana Takeda. I'm gathering they're Japanese, and the art does have a very kind of anime manga kind of feel to it, which is good because it kind of differentiates the books from other books, but the art in itself is also really gorgeous. All in all, I loved it. I thought they did a great job here of crafting this world and making it feel, you know, a rich, vibrant world that is complex, and I'm just really interested to find out more of this world's history. Great first issue, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next in this book, and I give Monstrous issue number 1 a definite 5 out of 5. Next up we have Uncanny XMen issue number 600, the final issue of Bendis' run on the X-Men. And first off, this was $5.99, and it is nowhere near as thick as Monstrous was. And in the back we get this kind of backup story, which is a reprint of something or other, and I'm like, why? It has nothing to do with the main story. And I got about halfway through it and I just put it down. I couldn't read no more. I was like, this has nothing to do with the main story. It doesn't illustrate a plot point or anything. And I'm like, so why is this here? Why not give us that and charge us a dollar less? You know, the thing is, all the companies want to make profit, but Marvel are just a bit too blatant with it. Image will seduce you and take your money, so you feel like good about it because you've been seduced. Marvel, they'll just hit you over the head and take your money. That's a kind of their thing, and it does leave sometimes a sour taste. Now I'm just as guilty because I picked the book up. I should have said no, bleep off, I'm not buying this book. But no, I bought it, so I'm just part of the problem, I suppose. But I just wish Marvel would have a bit more finesse with the way they take our money, and not be so blatant with it. But anywho, getting into the story, I really enjoyed. I think, as somebody who's read the whole of Bendis' run on the X-Men, what I really liked about it was it gives a lot of closure. A lot of issues that have kind of been there, it gives a satisfying end to. I also like that while it wraps up a lot of stuff, it also feels like a beginning for what's coming next. So all in all, yeah, I found this very enjoyable, and there were some really nice heartfelt moments in here as well that I really liked. So I'd give Uncanny X-Men issue 600 for the X-Men part of the book. I would definitely give it 5 out of 5. We then have Extraordinary X-Men issue number 1, and this kicks off the next phase of the X-Men stories. We have Jeff Lemire writing this with Gilberto Ramos on art. So I like that team. I was really looking forward to seeing what Lemire is going to do. This is very much a standard first issue, as it kind of brings us up to speed with what's happening. I did feel it was bad that, like at the beginning, they have this nice kind of introduction here, but I did feel it was bad that they never mentioned nothing about, well, it's been 8 months since the last X-Men book, and, you know, things have gone bad for the X-Men. You know, there's nothing, you kind of have to get that from the story, and you kind of piece together that, like, some of its bad's happened to Cyclops, that the Terrigen Mist has kind of caused mutants to become sterile, so the mutant gene isn't being reborn, that there are no new mutants, and that also kind of now that there's become this mutant disease as well, that is affecting regular humans, and mutants have become even more hated and ostracized than they were before. They are plot threads that we've seen before, but it does put the X-Men in kind of a very interesting position, as we've now got X-Haven and they're kind of hidden from the world, and Storm is trying to put together a team, a new team. So we get to see how all of the characters kind of come together and get hints of what's been happening to the different characters while the book's been on hiatus. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good first issue. I feel you could pick this up. You don't need to have read anything else. You just pick this up. You've got the mystery of what's happened before. Though I think maybe if you was a new reader, you'd kind of be concerned, well, was there stuff in other volumes that I've missed? And it's like, no, they've just jumped a bit and we're kind of catching up. But I personally, I really like that kind of mystery, as kind of we're going to get a little bit revealed at a time. And like I say, it is a very nice introduction to all the characters, and I'm definitely very excited to see what this creative team are going to do with the book, and I'd definitely give Extraordinary X-Men issue number 1 5 out of 5. So our final comic of the week, it is Black Science issue number 17, part 1 of God World, and this was just fantastic, a fantastic return. The art here by Matteo Scalero is just gorgeous. his art is just hit another level on this book. He is just all kinds of good on this book. All kinds of good. I just absolutely adored the art. The story as well, it's kind of similar to like the X-Men. 3 years have passed since the last issue, and the team have kind of been separated, and Grant has been trapped on this world, and something's wrong with his memory because he can't remember things, and he's having to write stuff down, kind of like Memento, that film Memento, where he kind of remembers stuff, so he's having to write stuff down to try and remember what's happened. And kind of it's really interesting kind of catching up with him, and we also get to kind of have these flashbacks where we learn a bit more about Grant McKay's youth and childhood and kind of the things that may have shaped the person he's become. I just absolutely loved the book. It was just a joy from start to finish. Very different story than what we've been getting, but it's still very enjoyable, and yeah, a definite 5 out of 5 and a comic of the week. So those are my comics of the week. Next up, ready, aim, fire. It's time for rapid fire reviews. So here we are for rapid fire reviews. I've got 14 books to go out here, so let's see how quickly we can get through these. First up, I start with a book from last week. It is the final issue of Where Monsters Dwell. I enjoyed this. We get to find out a lot more about Kemi and her past. We get to see the final fate of Carl. Does he get off the island, and what happened to him? And I really like what happened to him because it kind of is like justice for the character. The one problem with this book has had, I feel, is that the two main protagonists are very unlikable. And so it gives you nobody to root for, and you don't really care what happened to the characters, even though it's an enjoyable story, well written and well drawn. So I'll give Where Monsters Dwell 4 stars out of 5. We then have Batman and Robin Eternal issue number 5. I really enjoyed this a lot more than previous week's issue. I thought we got back on track. I'm liking how Dick Grayson is pretty much Batman in everything but name, and Tim even calls him out on it. I like how last issue where we had Tim going hello mother, that played into this issue not in the way we expected. I liked how they messed with us there. The showdown between Dick and Tim was also really good. Cassandra Cain and the Orphan continue to be stars of this book and really fascinating characters that I'm looking forward to finding out more about. We do get the one bit when Grayson goes to Drake's parents' house where it gets a bit silly, but other than that, I thought this was a definite improvement over the previous week's issue, and I give Batman and Robin Eternal issue number 5 4 stars out of 5. So next up we have Green Arrow issue number 46. If this was any other book, I would have dropped this by now, but it's just because Green Arrow is my favourite character that I'm kind of sticking with it, but it is making it very difficult to stick with it. So disappointing. I like that they're trying something different with putting the horror vibe into the book, but it's just not working. Green Arrow is just not the character for the horror vibe, and taking him away from Seattle is not good either, because he's always been about his city, but it seems to be he spends more time out of his city than in his city. So that kind of thing, and the character itself doesn't seem to be Oliver Queen. It's just another character that's in the Green Arrow book. I did like that we get to learn more about Tarantula here and her motives, so that was really cool. But the series continues to be a disappointment, and I'd give Green Arrow 46 2 stars out of 5. Next up we have Doctor Who, 11th Doctor Adventures, Year 2, issue number 2, and I enjoyed this. We get to see the Doctor kind of paying for the sins of the War Doctor, which is a time of his life he's kind of blocked out of his mind, so he's having to face up with some very painful stuff, and that the things he did during the Time War have had really big consequences, not just for the Time Lords and the Daleks, but for a lot of other races throughout the universe. I like the Squire. I think it's only natural that the War Doctor would have had a companion too, so I think the Squire is a very interesting character. I'm looking forward to finding out more about her. Absalom Dark was fantastic. The Dalek Killer was brilliant in this issue, and I really enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the art. You know, here's the one scene where with Absalom Dark, which I really liked. I thought the art and the colours in this issue were really great. I didn't quite understand the whole thing about the then and the now robot and about the Magnilant. I didn't understand that. So there's some concepts that I feel aren't been put over well, but the central concept of the Doctor paying for the sins of the past, I'm really liking. And I'd give Doctor Who Year 2, Issue 2, 4 stars out of 5. Next up we have Darkside War, tie-in Superman. This is a one-shot looking at our God of Strength, Superman, who kind of absorbed the son of Apocalypse, and it's had this really bad effect. Think Superman 3, and he comes back to Earth for nothing other than the apple pie. But we have Jimmy Olsen there trying to get through to Superman that he is a hero and that he does like Earth, and that Earth has always accepted him and made him the man he is. So I liked this for the old school feel of having Perry White and Jimmy Olsen. That was really cool, and it's a Manipul. I would love to see him write a Superman book, because he seems to have a really good handle on the character and on the supporting cast. So I would really like, that's something I coming out of this, I would really like to see. It's a very quick read, but it's enjoyable and it's fun. And I like the art, the way they have this kind of negative look to Superman as well, and the art here is really good. So yeah, I'd give Darkside War Superman 4 stars out of 5. So on other Darkside War tie-in is Flash, as the Flash has merged with the Black Racer to become the God of Death. So with this issue we kind of get to see the Flash's journey and how he tries to outrun death, that he doesn't want to become this. But then we kind of have his emotional journey throughout the issue to come into a point where he has to accept, yes, I will merge with the Black Racer, I will become Death, the God of Death. So I really like his journey here. Again, the art was good. It's an enjoyable one and done tale that, you know, I think for Flash fans you'll enjoy this. And I also prefer the suit. We have the old Flash suit, and it kind of really brings home how much I dislike the current Flash outfit that they've gone with. You can see, I don't know why you can see there, he's got his regular suit on, which I love that suit much more. The new one they've got is really rubbish, so that's really cool. But yeah, another really enjoyable Darkside War tie-in, and I'd give it 4 stars out of 5. Next up we have Doctor Strange, issue number 2. This was another really good issue, and this is a great series if you've never read the character before, but you've heard they're bringing a movie out is it next year they're bringing a Doctor Strange film out? But yeah, it's coming out and you don't know the character. This is a great place to start, because I don't have that much awareness. I've read him in other books like New Avengers, or when he's maybe turned up in other books to help out with something magic-y, but I've never actually read a Doctor Strange book. So this book's been really good in that it's introducing the character, you get to know who he is. There are aspects to his character that I don't know if they've always been like this. He seems quite a womanizer, I mean, in that way he seems a lot like Tony Stark. But then you've got the whole magic aspect that kind of differentiates him from Tony Stark. I like we get a real glimpse at his house and how crazy it is, and that was really cool and really fun. But like, while we're introducing the character and into his world, we've also building future storylines with these little glimpses at the end of the issue of that there's something bigger going on here, and he even mentions that yes, something bad is brewing here. So I'm liking that. But continues to be a great introduction to the character and a lot of fun. I give Doctor Strange issue number 2 4 stars out of 5. So next up we have the Midnighter issue, or just Midnighter, sorry, issue number 6. This was another really good issue. I like the art and how that's been done. The story itself I really enjoyed. We get a really nice twist with a shocking betrayal at the end of the issue. The last page I didn't quite understand what was going on. Did the one character leave and another character come in, or did that character go out, get changed and come back in a different outfit? I didn't quite understand, and I didn't quite understand who the character that comes in is supposed to be. But I really enjoyed the issue. It brought it down to a more personal level, as he's on this kind of revenge mission to protect the family of the one he loves. But then you get the betrayal, which I didn't expect. Even though there's clues and you think there's something dodgy going on with the father, but then when it all goes down, you're like, oh my gosh, I did not see that coming. But continues to be a really good book, and I give Midnighter issue number 6 4 stars out of 5. So next up we have Batman Detective Comics issue number 46, and this had a very old school feel to it. The way the story is kind of presented, where like Bat Gordon is teaming with the Justice League, and you've got these characters that are so powerful, but they need his kind of detective nous to solve this mystery. And it's kind of like this story where initially he's in over his head, but then he kind of comes into his own and saves the day. And that for me was a kind of old school way to kind of write a story, but it works. I liked Bat Gordon got to save the day and actually be the star, where in the other books he's often shown to not be up to task. So it was nice here that he gets to stand toe to toe with the other members of the Justice League and to contribute to the team. So that was really cool. Oh, excuse me. I didn't understand some of his logic when he's solving what's happening, and some of it I felt was a bit of a jump, and I didn't quite understand how's he deduced that. So that was a bit of a stretch at times, but overall I enjoyed this. I liked where it went, and also I liked that they sorted things out, and it wasn't a case of, oh, we've got to beat up the bad guys to win to solve this. I liked that it was like, oh yeah, this is why this creature's behaving like this, so this is what we need to do to kind of calm it. So I liked how they dealt with things, and all in all, I thought this was an enjoyable issue, and I'd give Batman Detective Comics 46 4 stars out of 5. We then have the first issue of Doctor Who, the 8th Doctor Adventures. This is a 5-issue miniseries. This issue pretty much just sets up and introduces the Doctor's companion, and we get to meet her. Trying to find her name. I never wrote it down. Brilliant. But yeah, so we get to meet his new companion. I don't think they did a good job really getting this Doctor's character across, because I'd imagine he'd be one of the most difficult to watch because there's so little of him. He did the TV movie, he did a short mini episode, and that's it. Unless you listen to the audio plays by Big Finish, that's it for his Doctor. So I feel he probably is the most difficult one to write, but you don't really get any sense of what differentiates him from the other Doctors, because while they all have the same moral compass, they're all kind of have their own things about them, and you don't really quite get what this Doctor's about. I did like the mystery of this future companion, even though it does feel like something that's been done to death of late with New Who, that there's something about the companion. I did enjoy the story, and the way that they solved it as well was really good. And yeah, I definitely sets up the rest of the series well at the end, so I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. And I'd give Doctor Who 8th Doctor Adventures number 1 3 stars out of 5. We then have Green Lantern issue number 46, and this was another really enjoyable issue. And again, he saves the day by not fighting, and I like that. I like when the story's a bit more cerebral, and it's not, yeah, it's nice sometimes to have a bad guy to knock around, but it's nice, I think, also sometimes to have the hero win the day with their brains rather than their fists. And here Hal Jordan needs to help a Relic, and he eventually convinces Relic to help him deal with Blackhand. And so I liked how this went. I like the supporting cast, and I just really enjoy what Venditti's doing with the book at the moment, and the art also is really good. So yeah, it's just been really fun at the moment. I give Green Lantern 46 4 stars out of 5. Next up we have Ninjak issue number 9, which concludes the Shadow War. I think this whole story's gone really quickly. I still kind of worry the fact that each villain is only getting 1 issue. I did really like the character. I'll just turn my notes over. I did really like the showdown with Fakir, and I would have liked to see a bit more from that character because he seemed very interesting. We get a big reveal about Ninjak's past in this issue, which I did not see coming from the way they built it up. So that was a bit of a jaw dropper. It wraps up the story very satisfactorily, as even the backup in here, the Lost Files, that concludes as well, and kind of both stories bring us full circle. Very satisfactory end, and I would give Ninjak issue number 9 4 stars out of 5. So next up we have We Stand on Guard issue number 5. The art in this book continues to be really great. I felt this was a stronger issue than probably the last couple, as things seem to be coming to a head. We get to meet Thomas, the brother of Amber, in the modern day at last, which was good to see. Amber is just total badass in this. We get some shocking deaths, but like things are moving so quickly that I don't think really the story gets time to deal with these things, as it's just one big thing after another. But I enjoyed this more than the last issue, which I may have given the same score. But yeah, I'm enjoying this, not loving it, but enjoying it. So we stand on guard number 5, 4 stars out of 5. So our penultimate book in the rapid fire is Invincible Iron Man issue number 3, and I think I'm ready to commit to this series. I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying it infinitely more than I enjoyed the last 2 series of Iron Man. This has been really good. Bendis doing what Bendis does best, and that's write a lot of dialogue. You look there and you've got the whole page, but the scenes between Amara and Tony Stark, where he really lets down his mask, you see there's more dialogue. I'm really liking those, and I'm liking the side of Tony he's writing. The armor is badass, and I'm really enjoying the new armor. The art is outstanding. I like David Marquez is definitely, with this book, he's kind of announcing himself to the world as a big time artist. I like, there's a great scene in here between Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, which is brilliant. Yeah, all in all, just really enjoying it, and give it 5 out of 5. And so the final book, I didn't get this from my comic shop, I ordered it online, but Citizen Jack number 1, it's basically about a politician who makes a deal with this devil or this demon called Marlin Spike, and Marlin is going to make him successful. I liked it. Jack, instantly they kind of put him over, this lovable loser, so it's going to be interesting to see what success does to him. And you kind of rooting him, the way people treat him bad in this issue and put him down, you kind of can't help but find yourself rooting for Jack. And even though his judgment and his decision making is bad, he is a lovable loser, and it's going to be very interesting to see his journey going from that. And this feels like it's going to be a very fun story, and I give Citizen Jack number 1 a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. So those are my books for this week. Next up, I'm going to get some stuff off my chest with my rant of the week. So here we are now for the very first rant of the week. And this week my rant is Secret Wars. What was the point, or is the point, of Secret Wars? Now, we're just starting the past couple of weeks, maybe month, and we've started having the new books coming out from Marvel. Secret Wars began back in May, and it doesn't look like it's going to end until probably December, maybe even January. And while at the same time we're starting to have the new books come out the last few weeks, maybe even month, the new books have kind of been launching, and you're kind of wondering, looking at kind of what effect the Secret Wars has had on the Marvel Universe. And with the exception of bringing maybe a few characters over from the Ultimate Universe and bringing Old Man Logan in, there doesn't seem to be anything else that it's really done. Now, I go back, the first Secret Wars was the first book that I bought regularly, and I can remember coming out of that Secret Wars, you had She-Hulk joining the Fantastic Four and the Thing remaining on Battleworld. You had Spider-Man with a new outfit that eventually became the Symbiont Venom. You had Magneto joining the X-Men, who had been their arch enemy since the beginning of that book. He now was an X-Man. You had Colossus committing, having an affair and admitting to that affair to Kitty Pryde, and the fallout from that. So, and there's probably other stuff that I'm not remembering, but there was a lot of fallout that drove the stories forward in the books, and that made you, when you put that Secret Wars down, you kind of wanted to go and buy those books to see what happened next. How would Magneto work as an X-Man, and where would that go? You know, how would She-Hulk work as a member of the Fantastic Four, and what would happen when the Thing came back from Battleworld? There's something up with this outfit of Spider-Man. What's going to go on there? How is that going to be different? So there were things that was going to drive you forward and made you want to kind of see what happened next, and made the Secret Wars event have an effect on the Marvel Universe. Likewise, Likewise, you go to another one of my favourite events, Age of Apocalypse, and you had things coming out of that as the world ended and these characters thinking it was the end of the world. You had Wolverine killing Sabretooth, you had Gambit and Rogue kissing, thinking that the end of the world, and then that gets averted and they now have to deal with these things that they did in the moment. They have to deal with the repercussions of. And coming out of Age of Apocalypse, not only did you introduce new characters into the Marvel Universe that had somehow escaped the Age of Apocalypse, but also you now had to deal with these consequences. That made it, and I think probably you look at all the really good events and they've had things coming out of the repercussions that have driven the stories and the books forward. And I don't think with the books that are coming out now after Secret Wars that's happening. A lot of the books, it seems just the continuation of the stories when they went away, and it's just been disrupted by Secret Wars coming in. And I know it's been difficult with Secret Wars because the process of the book coming out has just really been cocked up. It's kind of dissipated any kind of goodwill or any kind of momentum that the series had. Has kind of just totally gone at this point. And I kind of just want the event over. I was like that in July, and I'm even more like that now in November. And kind of looking now at like what was the point, it seems the only point of Secret Wars was money. It was to have another event in 2015 to make money off of. That there doesn't seem to be no creative drive of this is where the event's going to take us, this is what's going to happen, it's going to shake up the Marvel Universe, and we're going to have all this stuff coming out of it and people are going to want to go and see what happens next. None of that's happening. All the books seem to just be a continuation, so creatively it's added nothing, zero to the Marvel Universe. All it's added is to Marvel's, money. And I don't want to be like this guy that's having a go, because there's nothing wrong with making profit, but it's just sometimes Marvel are just so blatant and cold with it. There's just no charm about it. It's just give me your money, rather than we've got this product you may like. Would you like to give us your money, please, to have this product? There's none of that. They just hit you over the head and take your money. And it does leave a bad taste in your mouth. And I know as a kid, Marvel was it. And throughout my comic book buying life, Marvel has been the main company I've bought off. And I just, at this point at my life, I've got zero loyalty to Marvel. Because just the way they do business just does not make that kind of brand loyalty kind of feel. And I admit, again, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I probably am part of the problem, because I go and buy the $4.99 books, I go and buy the the $5.99 books, so I'm probably part of the problem. That if as a comic book community we kind of all said, no, we're not buying these books that you're overpricing. We're gonna support the books that you put out at a decent price. We'll support, but we're not paying for these other books. But as comic book fans, we're not going to do that, and they know that, and that probably kind of encourages their kind of behaviour. So I don't know what can be done about it, but when I kind of ask the question of myself, what was the point of Secret Wars? Right now, the only answer I've got is money, and that's making money for Marvel. So that has been my rant of the week. Next up, we're going to be on something a bit more happy. We're going to be my pick of the week. So my pick of the week this week is Lazarus, issue number 20. This book was outstanding. When I put this book down after I'd read it, I was buzzing. Oh my god, was I buzzing. I really enjoyed this. I just kind of I really enjoyed the issue, and there were some great twists and turns, but I was buzzing because I wanted to see what happens next, and I was just so excited for it. And that instantly then I was like, yeah, this is my pick of the week. No other book, while there's been other books I've enjoyed, no other book has kind of left me buzzing as much as this book did. So yeah, pick of the week all the way. So this issue we get to see the Anvils. They're on a mission. Can they blow up? Can they complete their mission and blow up this thing they need to blow up? Or Are they going to fail? We have Joanna, who is an interesting situation. She was kind of pissed that with her father in a coma, that Stephen was running things and he's not up to task, and she was going to betray the family because she felt so pushed out over it. But kind of we have an interesting turn of events now in this issue where she's now kind of like, is she going to help the family or is she going to strike against them? And she's in a really interesting position, and I'm really interested to see what Joanna does. We get Michael as well, that young doctor. He seems to be getting closer to getting answers, and I'm wondering if what they do to the Lazaruses is that going to be the answer to saving, the patriarch of the Carlisle family. And the ending is just kick-ass, and I loved and just left me buzzing. Really great book. The story is brilliant, the art is brilliant, and I'm just on tenterhooks. If you're not reading this book, I well recommend picking up the trades. Image do a really good job with the trades, getting them out quickly, because this series just gets better and better. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm going to give Lazarus issue number 20 my pick of the week. Well, comic book fans, we've come to the end of the video and for another week, which means it's time to find out who the company of the week is. For anybody new here, what company of the week is each week I'll take, for example, Marvel. I'll look at how many Marvel books I read, I'll add the scores together that the books got, I would then divide by the number of Marvel books that there are, and that will give me an average score. I do the same for DC and the Indies, and we then get to see who's the company of the week. So, this week, in third place with a 3.7 average rating are DC Comics. In second place with an average rating of 4.3 are the Indies. So, the company of the week this week, who had a very strong week, are Marvel with an average rating of 4.6. I think for Marvel this week, I think I might be wrong on this, but I think their lowest book was a 4. So all their books were like 5s or 4s. Where the Indies, you had, I think, one book that was 3. And with DC, you had one book that was 2. So I think that impacted them. But anywho, Marvel are the company of the week. So that's me done for another week. I will be back on Wednesday with a whole video. It's a big week again this week. 19 books to pick up. I'm not sure. I think we've got a couple of series ending, Secret Wars books ending. We may even get a new issue of Secret Wars coming out at last. I think issue 7 might be out. We've got all new Wolverine, which I'm looking forward to, and I think there's a whole bunch of Batman books, and there's a lot of Image books this week that I'm getting. So that's all good. I look forward to getting them. So I will be back Wednesday, and then back some point next week with a review video. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you like the new format or you hate it, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. If you like the video, give me those beautiful thumbs up. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jason with my comic reviews from the Dude Cave. Bye for now.